Well, listen, this isn't going to be overly in-depth today because I watched the film, broke it down, first half, second half, and I'm going to focus on the Broncos offense because I'm an offensive guy, and that's where our issues are right now. My opinion, that was Bo Nix's worst game as a Denver Bronco. He's had some bad ones, and it's probably debatable. Statistically, I don't worry about the stats. I'm just telling you what my eyeballs told me watching it. The footwork is a problem right now. I know we've harped on it a lot, but that his feet are so jittery, man. He's just panicked in the pocket. There were just some weird throws that caused so many errant balls. You know, one, he's got his left foot behind his right foot, like he's crisscrossed, caused a deep overthrow. Another one, he's got his back foot off the ground for no reason. I mean, his right foot is off the ground. He's throwing off just his left foot. And to me, it looked like a guy that was frazzled, right? It looked like he just couldn't get comfy in the pocket. It caused these errant throws. Like the one to Evan Ingram, I don't know if you remember, Evan Ingram was wide freaking open for a touchdown.
Yes.
And Bo Nix, I must have rewatched that play 8 times trying to figure out, did that ball get tipped? Did it get batted? Because how does he underthrow him by 7 yards, you know? Like just wild, errant throws in that game that...
So there wasn't an unusual amount of pressure?
There was some more pressure in this game than there normally was. Part of that was when Quinn Miners went out and Calvin Throckmorton went in. Throckmorton was battling, but he gave up some pressures. He gave up some pressures that got in his face. But Bo was just panicked in his escapes. Sean has talked about this last week and now again today, that Bo has got to trust the timing in his head. And it's a good thing that he's not taking sacks, but it comes at the expense of not letting the plays develop. So the ball's getting out of his hands, or you're not getting through your progression, whatever it might be. You're not taking sacks, but you're also not trusting the time. And then, you know, you combine a bad performance from Bo Nix with just some weird play calls like that. Dan, cue up the Cortland Sutton trick play here, because this one was just like, what are we doing? It's 3rd and 1. You're in 4-down territory, meaning you could QB sneak it twice. You could QB sneak it once. You could hand the ball off, go up the A-gap. But instead, we scheme up some weird trick play to Cortland Sutton. There was an absolute miracle that Cortland Sutton was able to even catch this ball.
So it's kind of a blend of the two.
Trying to adjust to the outside, backwards pass. Now you've got Sutton, and he gets taken down. So a play that frankly looked badly designed and certainly badly executed.
And I think to the Raiders' credit, they were not fooled at all. I mean, in fact, Snowden does a good job of bringing him down, but the coverage downfield, there's nowhere to go for Cortland Sutton at all. So this drive will end on kind of, they try to trick him there on 3rd and short.
I think Sean explained that when that play works, it looks good.
When it works, it looks good. When it doesn't work, you say, hey, man, it's 3rd and 1. Right. You're in 4-down territory. QB sneak it twice. Hand it up the middle twice. Right. Do a bootleg with a little dart out of the backfield. Right. There's so many things you could do in that situation, but you took yourself out of 4-down territory by calling a stupid trick play. And not only was it a bad trick play, but it also was a great example of how rushed Bo Nix was in that game. If you look at that throw that he threw to Cortland Sutton, he freaking panics. That ball is supposed to be thrown about maybe a yard or 2 back behind the line of scrimmage. He must have thrown it 5 yards back behind the line of scrimmage. Cortland Sutton has to take off just to catch this football, makes a great grab. The whole thing just was bad. It was a great example of just nothing could go right in this game offensively. The deep balls to Troy Franklin, I joked about it last week. I'm getting a petition. I'm going to go stand outside of Safeway, and I'm going to get people to sign their names on this thing. I'm going to hand it to Sean Payton. I don't ever want to see another deep ball from Bo Nix to Troy Franklin because they can't complete it. Those two dudes cannot get on the same page. The one positive out of the game was the 4-minute drive. That was the one positive. There was a little bit over 4 minutes left in the game. You had to get a couple first downs to ensure a victory. I think you were going to win it even if you didn't, but you ran the ball in the toughest of situations when everybody knows you're going to run the football, and you went and won a football game.
Yeah. And you got, Mercedes Lewis had like a nice block on the last one. Like, it worked well. You give props for that. Against Houston, it was like ping-ponging back and forth with 4 minutes to go. So listen, you did what you needed to do to win the game when everybody knew what you were going to do. But of course, it begs the question. It's 3rd and 1. I mean, when
all I know is somebody needs to take the Red Bull out of Bo Nix's locker in pregame. No more caffeine pregame because the dude is just way too jittery.
All right. Well, here is Sean Payton earlier today talking about a lot of the things you just brought up on working with Bo and his timing.
Well, I think it's a plus and a minus. I've said that before. I think one of his great strengths is not taking sacks, and so the clock in his head relative to that sense of urgency. So I think there is a fine line of, number one, the depth of route. Is this a longer developing play, a 7-step drop, a 5-step drop, a 3-step drop, and what should be the appropriate time. But I think that's a much easier problem to correct than the latter, which is taking the sacks, and historically speaking, has proven to be much more difficult to fix.
All right, so he's saying, well, okay, we got problems. It's not great. Well, look what it could be. I mean, it's not that. Thank goodness. It could be a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you buy that?
I do agree with his assessment there that I especially as an offensive lineman, I mean, and this is just speaking pure selfishly, but as a play caller, as a quarterback coach, I would always rather have a quarterback that gets rid of the ball too quickly than a quarterback that holds on to the football. So if we're going to err on a side, we're erring on the correct side. We're erring on getting rid of the football on time. I like that. I do agree with what Sean is saying, that it's easier to coach a guy to slow down than it is to coach a guy to speed up. Because a guy that you got to coach to speed up, he probably just doesn't have the processing or ability, right? So at least that's the side we're leaning on right now. But Sean's right. Like, we have got to allow these plays to develop.
That's where Prime hesitated, you could tell, praising Juju Lewis too much. Because the dude took 7 sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some nice moments, but Prime, I'm sure, is pulling his hair out. Well, what am I supposed to do here? What is anybody supposed to do? Calling plays when the kid can't make his mind up. Bo does do that, but his fundamentals are a little squirrely. Here is Sean talking about that.
Yeah, I think Davis does a great job. There's times where during portions of practice that they'll work specifically on, left off a 3-step, left off a 5, right off a 3, right off a 5, route specific. But look, the challenge the other night, and especially when you look at the tape, there were a number of things that we've got to do better, we collectively as coaches, and we will. I'm glad we got the win. I just finished talking to our team about it. That was a big win for us to get to 8. And obviously we recognize, all right, here are the things we got to continue to work on to improve.
How much are the penalties killing them right now, Tyler?
Enormously. I believe it was 11 penalties and 8 was on offense. Good luck.
Brutal, right?
I mean, good luck. Good luck with 8 penalties on offense.
We're
good
avoiding
luck getting backed up. Good luck going from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15 or 1st and 10 to 1st and 20.
It's the equivalent of a sack, sort of. I mean, you don't lose it down, but it's bad. Doesn't help. Sean, I'm getting better on that.
I think you can correct that, and we plan on.
Why haven't we?
I think.
Look.
There's 1 or 2 a game that get called. You look at, and I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with that. But that being said, there's a sum total, and certainly it has to be a point of emphasis.
All right. Of the things that didn't look great, how correctable are they, and what would you expect?
I don't know. You got a mini bye week that you're coming off of, right? So you got some time here to take a deep breath, get away from the facility, try to get rid of any bad juju out of your system, and come back. I heard Vic talking about it this morning. His expectation is the offense is going to look pretty similar. We got a lot of evidence. This is what it's going to be. It's probably what it's going to be against the Chiefs as well.
Probably.
The counter argument is, well, this team does seem to find a way to play better against better football teams. All right, well, hopefully you can do that. The problem with what Bo is going through right now is that for whatever reason, I don't think he's seeing the game the same way that he once was. And that's causing what's causing his footwork to be so jittery. Well, he's not feeling the pocket. He doesn't feel the rush appropriately. So he's worried he's got something coming off the right when it's coming off the left. He's worried he can escape out the back when he needs to step up the middle. He steps up the middle when he needs to escape out the back. Like he's just not seeing the field the right way. And those sorts of things are actually really hard to coach because those are more intangibles. Those are a natural feel that an athlete just has. You can show it to him on film, but if you can't feel it in real time, it's really hard to coach that out.
Okay, well, they got stuff to work on, no doubt.